Here? Yeah, yeah, I'm right back at you like I never left. I'm gonna go this hard to my last breath. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanoom, Consul, Moon. You already know what you're gonna get when you step in this room. You're now dealing with Kanoom. Yeah, yeah, I'm here. While I'm here, I'm gonna make the information direct and clear because a lot of y'all can't hear. Yeah, yeah. Now, welcome back to Make My Ancestors Great Again. This is another episode of My Thoughts. This is My Thoughts 188, and it says Jesus Christ, A.K.A INRI Christos, on My Thoughts 188. So this is another variation. This is another person following the written religious literature, so-called depiction that they paint out and point out. And then you have actual artistic depictions, visual, photographic depictions that these people they make a living on trying to get as close as they can. They make a living on this. This is what they do. Long as you look like the so-called dead white man on the cross, long as you have that depiction, which is a pictorial form, long as you can get close as you can to that depiction, that's your start. Okay. So a lot of people probably have been trying to do this stuff for years, and they have. But what I'm saying is they get in their mind and say, okay, I resemble that. A lot of people tell me I resemble this Jesus the Christ character, whatever the case may be. So they go on what they play after that. This is another variation, another gentleman who think he closely depicts the pictorial form left, and he can take the um, religious written literature, the stories, he can combine that and he can take a show on the road. Okay. Now, this is about a gentleman who's much older. He's roughly in his 60s to 70s because I don't know when this event, the video took place. Okay. Now, it said he's a child of two German farmers who left Germany. Okay. They were expelled from Germany, I guess, at the time of Holocaust because he made a conversion in 1969 to be a seer, which is like Nostradamus. Nostradamus. Um, they tell you events. They supposed to be people that can have a vision or foresee the future before it even takes place. Okay, so in 1969, he changed his name to something that depicts that that's what he is, something to the tune of Nostradamus. Okay, so at that point, he couldn't see. He was a seer. He couldn't see or foresee the future that this is who he really was. This Jesus the Christ, or this Inri Christos. And this Inri Christos is at the top of every cross, INRI. Okay. That means the I is for the J, that's Jesus. Okay. The N is for Nazareth because he's a Nazarene. This is a Latin slogan or Latin term. I don't know the Latin words, but this is what it means in English. Jesus, the I, the N is the Nazarene or Jesus from Nazareth. Aura is a term in Latin again, means the king, and I again, or J, means the Jews. So INRI means Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. That's why you see it at the top of the cross. They put it there to mock him, and they put the crown on his head so he can be a king, but it was the crown of thorns. That's the name of it. Okay, so let's look at this man. He has in his mind, he's much older, but he has the look, the pictorial depiction, and people told him long ago, you look like Jesus Christ. So his play was started from right there. Okay, let's look at it. I don't own the video. You can watch this wherever you can find it. You can watch it in its entirety. Um, this is a fair use act. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. Let's look at Henry Christo.
Jesus Christ is returned, but only this time in Brazil. For more than 30 years, this man, calling himself Inri Christo, has preached his own gospel as a supposed reincarnation of Jesus of Nazareth, relocated to Brasilia. Born Alvaro Thais to farmers of German extraction, he made a first conversion in 1969, becoming Yuri of Nostradamus and styling himself a prophetic seer.
Nuri of Nostradamus was his first conversion of sorts. He was, I guess, a student or a prophet of Nostradamus. He believed in that. So he named himself Nuri of Nostradamus, a seer. Okay. So these people, they will try to get money or have people follow or gravitate towards them in a lot of different ways. These are shape shifters, if you will. They men of the people and or women, whoever these people are, because they're trying to gravitate towards something larger than they are in a human being life. So they just take different characters to one catch on. Okay.
Decade later, a vision revealed his true nature, and he changed his name from Yuri to Inri, son of.
See that? He's standing there with what's so-called supposed to be the shroud of tyranny, and he put his depiction closely to that depiction. So once you have the look, you got to start. Okay, let's continue.
God.
My Lord only revealed to me the position I occupied on earth in my past lives when he considered that it was important. I don't remember all of my previous lives.
This man has had multiple lives. Said the Lord only gave him who he was at a time when he thought he can reveal that to him. Say, hey, this is who you was. But further as that goes, he doesn't remember anything else from his previous lives. Now, this is God. Now, this is Jesus the Christ, the reincarnation of all of it. This Jesus the Christ is said to be God. Begotten from God means God the same as. Whatever you want to, however you want to cut it. So he's part of the Godhead. This is what he's claiming, but he doesn't know his previously lives. He was a seer, but he doesn't know his previous lives. So this man is just running around here shape shifting, trying to gain followers and trying to be something that he can't be in his regular life. His name was Tice, that he can be now in his new life. Just claim anything. Okay. First he was a Nostradamus follower. Now he's not even a follower of Jesus the Christ. He is Jesus the Christ. Okay. Let's go.
Inri's preaching took him abroad, where he was
See,
expelled from the U.S. and a few other countries, and to prison in Brazil, where he did a stint in the 1980s for vandalizing a cathedral. Now in his 60s, he's still not averse to making a scene to get people's attention.
he went to jail in the 80s for destroying a cathedral. They said he did a stint, so I'm assuming that caused him some time in prison or jail, whatever the case may be. But this man has several hundred followers, and 90% of them are women.
Inri's followers use the internet and social networking tools like Facebook and Twitter to preach the good word, often to the tune of a catchy pop hit.
Na vida eu sempre quero mais, mais. Aprendizado, luz e paz, mais.
Inri has made the rounds of Brazil's TV talk shows, but most of his time now is spent with his disciples at home in a closed compound outside the Brazilian capital.
Eu não sou remunerado.
I'm not paid. I work here and I'm not paid. We're all volunteers. And how can I help the Master's house? With my work.
Com meu trabalho.
Several hundred followers, 90% of them women, are faithful to Inri's creed and are hard at work making their church the New Jerusalem.
Making their church the New Jerusalem. And you got his ass sitting up there trying his best to look like the depiction of the dead white man on the cross. He got his feet up in a bowl, which I'm sure they do that Mary scene all the time when Mary Magdalene washed Jesus' hair. Washed his feet with their hair and all that type of stuff. Probably don't do the hair, but he receives plenty hand foot washes. You can bet your life on that. This man has all women, okay. 90%, but his most entrusted people, as we seen on there, was women. Okay, so his 12 disciples look to be ladies. And they look like they got on robes, like blue robes with little nursing hats. So he got it going on to the extent that he's manipulated them to just being his servants. So if he have, let's say, 100 women servants, he's beating 95 to 99% of most men on this planet. He's not a billionaire or a millionaire, I don't think. Well, I don't know that, but this man has manipulated his way to the top, so to speak. He was nobody when he was his regular self. but he read a couple of scriptures. He heard these stories of uh, fantasy stories. That's all they are. Story tales, wives' tales, oral tradition, written in religious literature, taught to the believer in a book called the Bible. And he set his game plan down. See, because there's no real man named Jesus the Christ. It never happened. So he can take that whole identity, come in his own person. Okay. He didn't have to change his person, come in his own look, put a little hat on or whatever case may be, teach it the way he want to teach it. And he can take that whole identity and turn this into this. Because again, there's never been a historical man named Jesus the Christ. I can do this for months because there's thousands of these guys around here. See? And nobody would dare put him to the test and say, hey, man, you really Jesus? Let's go to the hospital and clear it out. What do you mean by that? Anybody who's suffering from ailments, cancerous disease, anything, gunshot wounds, broken legs, muscular dystrophy, all this type, but just name it. Go heal the whole hospital. I give you another thing. Let's go to the cemetery. It's a couple of guys they just had their funeral. They haven't been dead 3 or 4 days or whatever the case may be. Go to the morgue. Lift a lot of these people up like Jesus did. Just lift them up, bring them back to life. See, since people aren't brilliant enough, and not brilliant, this is common sense, but I guess they would think like, why we don't question them? They won't push the line and say, hey, show me a miracle right before my eyes. Are we out of here? We're not going to fall for this. This is sad. But like I say, these gentlemen come a dime a dozen, and it's trillions and billions of dollars in the world's economy. So this is nothing. This is a drop in the bucket. This is just one of many variations of this so-called Jesus the Christ. That's my thoughts on the video. It's Lil Kenny Russell, Kanoom, Consul Moon. You already know what you're going to get when you step in this room. You're now dealing with Kanoom. This is what I do. I love to do it. And before I take back what I said, I add some more to it. This is to continue to show you that there's no 100% identification of a man named Jesus the Christ because he never existed. Why would people continue to fall for shams like this if it was one true identification of this man named Jesus from Nazareth or Galilee? If you knew who I was, me, myself, now I'm going to add myself into the equation, and I died 10 years later, somebody said they were me. Quite naturally, the people who know me are going to say, no, you're not Kenneth. I remember little Kenny Russell. That's not you. Even I'm a new man. No, we know how he act. We know we were with him. It's only been 10 years removed. We know the person that was little Kenny Russell. Even if I came back reincarnated, some of the things that I do, my characteristics might strike somebody and say, that might be him, if you believe in this type of thing. But there's just to walk up, people out of Brazil, people in Europe, people in the United States of America, people in Australia, any place, see, and take a whole set of attributes and identification and say that's you, and nobody will never say they're wrong. This is how you know it never existed. Okay. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I thank you for watching. Education and preparation is the first step to retaliation. So before you pick up a weapon or a religion, pick up some knowledge. Yeah. This is not to take religion from you. This is to restore spirituality, which was taken from you at the time religion was given to you. Yeah.